What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus, Two Shots Dominguez, and joining me tonight, it's Chris, the Stats Man Gorman. Hit him with the stats, Chris.
Hi. I don't have many stats this week. I have one stat I can talk about is DeJounte Murray had 13 triple-doubles last year in 68 games. So he's a fun little asset that Atlanta Hawks now have on their team.
Solid piece. Also getting minutes tonight. It's the lawn boss, Joey McCrowski. Get that, Joe.
Look. It's great to be back. Full squad, ready to do it.
Oh, yeah. The boys are back in town. Well, full squad minus Adam. He's we did not inform him that we were doing a podcast tonight, so sorry about that.
Wednesdays
Adam.
we do the pod, except
we do the pod.
Not the last few Wednesdays,
except the last 7.
Except when we don't, we decide we do. But he's making us sound professional and delicious as dove in the after post show stuff. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good one. We're a little rusty, a little ready to go. We're loose. The boys have not all been together. We have not been potting for a minute, so it's definitely much needed here. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to do a little bit of a season recap. Chris is going to go over some of our over-unders and stuff we did earlier in the year, I believe. As Chris was hinting to, we have the trade of DeJounte Murray we're going to talk about. Big piece moving. Does that shift the landscape? What does it do? And then Joey's got a nice closing 5 set of questions for us to kind of get us set up for the offseason and see where that goes. Well, without any further ado, Chris, let us know, man. Well, how do we do on these over-unders? What's your
so
here?
Going into the season, I remember being very optimistic, very excited for all the over-under numbers, and that did not play out for myself. Spoiler, Joey did come out very favorably. In these over-unders. Out of the 30 possible, Joey had a 60% success rate with 18.
Nice.
18 correct. Titus, you came he blew it away. Titus, you were 40% with 12, and then I had 11 right. I believe where the issue happened is the fact that I loved every team. I think I had 21 of overs. I can't remember. I didn't count back.
That sounds about right, if I remember correctly, based on how that evening went.
There's a lot of overs. So Joey, you went under. Obviously, anytime you went under, we went over. We went over on the Rockets, which at 27.5, they won 20 games. So yeah, man, it was a tough road. But enough about what went wrong.
Yeah.
Well, we were right about Phoenix Suns 51.5. We were collectively over on that. That was a lot. And with 64 wins, blew that one out of the water. Miami Heat only 48.5.
Wow.
And 53.
One seed.
We all went over. Denver, we all like Denver just a little bit. Just thought, it was a little 46.5. It was at 48. Clippers, we all went collectively under, and it surely was. Bulls. I mean, honestly, guys, we should have put money on the Bulls. Like, we were so confident in the Bulls.
Yeah,
we were.
And we were so right on the Bulls. And then another one that I didn't even forgot we were right about was the Hornets. That's not a team we talked about at all. I feel like last season.
No.
Miles Bridges might leave. Who knows what's going on there? And then the Sacramento Kings, which I want to look back on how many times they've been under. But they were under yet again by 5.5 games. So, yeah.
Again, that's just history right there. We're just playing the odds at that point.
Might as well just keep rolling with that.
Facts.
Joey, what do you think about those? Any of those kind of surprise you? And then do you have any just thoughts on kind of how the season ended as a whole? Because I know you guys weren't on the wrap-up podcast me and Richie did, but just what were your thoughts on the over-unders and thoughts on the season?
Yeah, I guess it's not all that surprising that choosing the unders kind of played out. Just looking at standings, like there was a lot of bunching in both conferences, really, like in the middle of the pack. A lot of upper 40s and kind of low 50 win totals. I think some of the teams that were suspected to be better than they, kind of ended up being kind of stagnant. Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like an Atlanta team that, had a lot of success the year before. I think we kind of thought like, hey, they're going to kind of maybe get some movement here. The Clippers, kind of another one, like probably had a little bit more fanfare going into the season with Kawhi and Paul George. Paul George went down for a while. So, the whole season, I think as a whole, just kind of the season of injuries, maybe kind of
Yeah.
a lot of what ifs for some teams. Clippers definitely being one of them. Lakers being another one. The Bulls definitely. Even the Bucks, right? There was just a lot of big name injuries that kind of came at not the greatest times. We also had a little run of COVID and right around the All-Star break. So I'm hoping this season will be a little bit better, kind of back on a normal schedule for them, a normal offseason, normal training camp, all that stuff. Hopefully we get a little bit more consistency and some of this plays out a little bit more in the regular season as expected. Overall, I think it was a pretty good season. I think we had a lot of highs, I think, as fans. There were definitely some pretty low lows, but overall, I think the regular season was exciting. Playoffs, I think outside of the finals were probably maybe a little bit lackluster, a lot of blowouts, a lot of, one-sided games. But the finals delivered, I think, for us. There were some blowouts in there, but the games overall, kind of the stories that came around it, and, Draymond being Draymond, like kind of brought some drama into it and some fanfare and kind of got, a little bit of excitement going. So as a fan, I was excited. I enjoyed it. I'm happy we got another season in.
Joey, I wanted to list out some of the unders that you had that Tyson and I were both over on. You went under on the Bucks, correct?
Nice.
Under on the Hawks, Blazers, Knicks, and Rockets.
Wow.
The only under that bit you was the Cavs. And I feel like I made a pretty convincing, strong case that you should have listened to me on, but
I did not believe the Cavs had some guys.
You paid for
not
it.
believe the Cavs had some guys. They did have some guys. Solid team all year.
They did, in fact.
Man, Joey was spot on there, man. I know your playoff predictions were pretty rock solid too for the whole time. I think didn't you had Warriors in 6, right? Correct? Too?
I did, yeah.
So you didn't get to gloat on that one in the in the final.
I think I joined the chat for a hot minute and said Dubs in 6.
That's right. You guys did jump in the chat. Yeah,
I was in there for a while. We can talk about that later. What I was in this chat. You didn't even read all my comments.
There was a lot of comments in that one. We can go back. Oh, but yeah, man, I think it was a solid season. Bulls were fun for a while. I mean, the season didn't end great for them, but it was definitely a fun season. Looking forward to the next season. And this
are you really?
Do you guys think
Not really.
basketball is more basketball's more ambiguous year to year? Like I think next year we might have two teams that weren't in the finals last year. Well, maybe the Warriors, who knows?
I don't think so.
Suns, Bucks, and then we had Celtics, Warriors. Next year could be like Clippers and the Nets. Like the fucking Nets might come around again. Who
Clippers,
knows
Heat?
at this point? I don't. Not even the Heat.
I think it's.
But yeah,
the league in itself is definitely in like a I guess weird place would be kind of a weird way to say it, but it does feel like it's just completely wide open. Like I don't know whose quote unquote league this is. You can go back the last few decades. It was Jordan's league for a while. Then it was Shaq and Kobe. Then it was the Spurs. There's all these sort of reigning dice. I guess Golden State winning this year. It's kind of Steph's and Golden State's. Theory,
but like LeBron beat that. It's 4-8. It's kind of
I think it's really really all over the place. Joey brought up the point. If Middleton doesn't get hurt, do the Bucks go back? And is that a different final than Boston? And who knows? So, are those guys going to be healthy again? You're bringing up the Nets, which we can kind of get into some of the offseason drama that's been going on with Kyrie and everything. But what are they going to be? I don't trust them, but we'll see. I guess we can kind of get into some of these rumors.
Listen to our first question.
Oh, we got we got the trades. We'll talk about the trades. The trade that happened. So DeJounte Murray goes to the Atlanta Hawks for Danilo Gallinari, and then what was the other piece? Was
three first round picks and 1 pick swap. So the Spurs own the Hawks for 2025 to 2027. There's a pick swap somewhere.
Okay, so they got a lot of first round picks, basically just getting assets. So they're doing a little bit of a process it sounds like they're getting rid of their, borderline all-star and DeJounte Murray. I guess kind of just bailing on that. Joey, what did you think of that trade in particular? Did it seem kind of out of left field? I know you said it was kind of being rumored around the podcast circuit we were listening to. So what did you think?
I think it's kind of rumored around. So it necessarily wasn't out of left field, but I think the Hawks got a steal out of that one. They've got a good base in Trae Young, obviously. They didn't have to give up John Collins to get DeJounte, which I think was the thing a lot of people were talking about was going to be the thing that had to happen, right? If you wanted DeJounte, it was going to have to be for Collins and picks, and they managed to dump Danilo Gallinari, which I think is I think they missed him at some times with some injury last year, but I don't that's not a piece you're holding on to if it's hanging up a deal for someone like DeJounte. But that's a really good move for Atlanta. I mean, Trae Young obviously was carrying a lot of the load himself, and if he was having a down night, which he didn't have many of, they didn't stand a chance to really win. And he's definitely that second piece that they need. I'm kind of excited to watch Trae, play off the ball a little bit. Like Chris mentioned, DeJounte's had 13 triple doubles last season. Like, does Trae kind of start to play a little bit like Steph, where you get a lot more action with him running around and kind of, just tiring guys out? And, he plays a similar game, a little bit more flashy and stuff, but he hits those mid-range floaters, those in the lane layups, and he can certainly knock down a three-pointer. So I'm excited for Atlanta. I hate to say that. Trae Young's I'm not a huge fan of Trae Young. I think just if he was on the Bulls, I'd be a fan, but just I think as a opposite fan, it's not the greatest. But like, they're going to be fun. I think it's going to be tough for them. I think that's going to mix in pretty well. And I mean, that's a good core. Trae, DeJounte, Collins, DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella, like that's a Kevin Huerta.
Solid core for sure.
Bogdanovich. I mean, that's a roster.
I think, like you're saying, playing off the ball for Trae could be really good. I think it's kind of what has limited him sometimes in the playoffs is he has to create so much, and then he's just a smaller guy, and he can get boxed in by defenders. I mean, Miami kind of ran all over those guys. So having somebody that he can kind of work off of and can facilitate him and free him up a little bit could be really dangerous. And DeJounte is definitely that guy. He's a playmaker. Chris, any other thoughts on the trade?
Yeah, I just love that Atlanta, when they were building up this team, it was to emulate what the Golden State did, right? So the Trae Young was supposed to be the Curry, Kevin Huerter was supposed to be Klay Thompson, John Collins maybe was supposed to be Draymond Green in a way.
Yeah,
Clint was supposed to be Bogut, and then Hunter or Reddish was going to be the Barnes kind of Wiggins, kind of Durant kind of guy, and Herter's not developing to the way they wanted to, so they're like, all right, you know what, we need to get another star in here. Let's give up our entire mortgage, our entire future, and bank on this team. And I kind of love that they're doing that because they are putting all their eggs in Trae Young basket. They love Trae Young more than anybody else in the league does, and Trae's owned up for them. He's averaging 28 points a game for back-to-back years at least, if not the last 3 years. And I love the move. I love that. Like what the Hawks were missing was some perimeter defense. You're not getting that from Bogdan, from Huerter.
Yeah.
Hunter's doing that a little bit, but Murray's a solidified, lockdown defender. So he's perfect for the team. The only issue with Murray really is his shooting. The guy shoots, maybe makes 1-3 a game at like a 32% clip. But you still have Bogdan. You still got Huerter who's developing. So those are knockdown guys. DeAndre Hunter, he's got to like put up or shut up. That guy's going to his fourth year now, and he didn't really develop last year, so I'm expecting something from him. I really like this Hawks team. I think they kind of set the bar for that mid-level to great kind of team. Like they're maybe right there with Boston now at this point. That's me saying Boston, even though they were in the championship.
Yeah, finals.
But anyway, like it's kind of weird to say the Boston was in the finals. I still look at it as Philly, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, even though Boston was in the finals. I don't know.
It is weird.
Regardless, Atlanta, it was a great move. I love that they made it. I love that the Spurs did it too, because the Spurs weren't going anywhere with DeJounte. The best they could do is that they weren't even trying to be the 10th seed, which I love, and that the Kings were trying so hard to get that. The Spurs just landed in that spot. But no, this is a great move for both sides.
Yeah, definitely feels like the right move at the right time for both teams, and kind of like you said, Spurs just kind of blowing it up and really trying to redo that process, get those picks, get some young talent in there, and then Atlanta capitalizing on a guy that they have who is an all-star caliber guy in Trae Young and trying to make the most of it. Definitely good. The other kind of trade rumor that never really happened or anything is Kyrie Irving was allowed to talk to other teams. Supposedly was gonna get traded and then ultimately signed back with the Nets. Joey, what was going on there, man? What do you have on that?
It's just, it seems like classic Kyrie, right? Like,
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, what really is his issue with that team? I just don't like. They pretty much bent over for him for 2 seasons in a row, right?
Yeah.
The first season he was there, he took his kind of leave of absence to go do whatever, and then last season, obviously with the vaccine ordeal, like they've let him do whatever he wanted, and he didn't find he didn't feel in any way like he needed to reciprocate any of that good faith back. I really think this was purely from him and Chris. Yeah, I'd sent some memes and some jokes, and Chris was like, yeah, I think he's just leaking all this stuff and making all this stuff on his own. Like, he wanted to make himself out to be the victim here. He quickly found out nobody was buying that or feeling that. And I mean, what was the money like? It was like signing a mid-level exception for like $6 million with the Lakers,
$6 million,
or $37 million with Brooklyn. Like, the fact that like anybody kind of thought he might do that just shows you, I think, what kind of guy he is. That like everybody else, right? You talk about like even like a Zach LaVine, like he openly says, "Hey, I want to test free agent. I'm gonna see what it's like." And everybody's like, he's not walking away from the money. He's not doing it. No one's walking away from that kind of money. And there's Kyrie. It's like, you might actually walk away from that kind of money.
Yeah,
like he might do it. He might go play with LeBron after he, had all that nonsense happen. But I don't know. He's there. I don't know. I'm curious to see if this team actually like hits the floor in October and it's Simmons, Durant, and Kyrie playing. I don't have a lot of confidence that that's actually going to happen.
Chris, what do you think, man? Kyrie, what's the drama?
I forgot. I mean, through all this, I forgot. Everyone forgot Ben Simmons was still on Brooklyn, but he almost got exactly what he wanted, which is his own team. Except I listened to Russillo. Russillo's been on it lately. He had a good point where he would never believe anyone's not going to take that player option for that money, right? But if anybody was going to do it, it would have been Kyrie. But even Kyrie's not crazy. I think we've seen the limits of Kyrie's craziness. Where it's like he's not going to leave $31 million on the table.
$30 million is crazy.
I think Kyrie's doing a great job of setting up his post NBA career, kind of like how Draymond, CJ, a bunch of guys, they're getting podcasts, JJ, Redick. But Kyrie's going a different direction. He might go in the direction of like, Kanye West setting up his own religion. Jared Leto's got a cult running.
Scientology.
So, who knows? Like with Kyrie, I wouldn't be surprised if like 10 or 15 years from now we hear like a bunch of followers with Kyrie Irving at an island somewhere, all wearing white, whatever. So we'll see. But for right now, for next season, that's why I still said Brooklyn next year. Like they still have the talent. Ben Simmons, as long as he can be healthy. I think he's got a sponsorship with Porsche or Ferrari or some shit. Like play some basketball, man. Just let's go. And then KD's not going anywhere. I'm not going to even bother with those rumors right now. The team in Minnesota jerseys, but it's just not going to be a thing.
No, and I'm kind of with you guys. Like, I don't really know what to make of Kyrie Irving. Some of the stuff, what was the quote he said after or while he was signing it, that some people do things differently or something?
Yeah. Some people like change the world.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what that quote was.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. For 37 million. Yeah, great. Yeah. Cool, man.
I don't know what you're doing, dude, or what you're on, but have fun with all that. This team is a team that I don't trust at all. I don't know what that was either.
I don't know what that was. That was Chris.
His little something. I don't know.
Yeah, here's Kyrie's quote. "Normal people keep the world going, but those who dare to be different lead us into tomorrow. I've made my decision to opt in. See you in the fall."
Dare to be different. Dude,
I don't-
dare to be different. That's what everyone's clowning that, because if he dared to be different, he
Different-
would have taken a
Yeah.
mid-level to go to LA. Nobody
Yeah,
does that.
that's-
No,
Yeah,
no.
You
You did
can't
exactly
dare to be
what-
different and do the obvious thing, dude. The thing that everybody
Yeah.
said.
You dared exactly to be what people expected you to do.
Oh my god, that's what drives me nuts. I'm like, dude, just don't have. You don't have to have the arrogance of why you're doing it. Just be like, hey, this was made sense to just do this. The market wasn't there. I did it. You didn't dare to be different, dude.
Yeah.
And then but as far as where I'm at with the Nets, I think you're right, Chris. That hey, look, are they an NBA title potential contender? Of course. I will not be buying any of that until they actually do it. They have to do it the full season. I'm sure there will be times and moments, and I want you guys to hold me to this, where I will feel weak and be like, ooh, Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, they look really good. But I want you to go, Titus, don't believe. Don't get sucked in.
Don't be a believer.
One of us has to stay not a believer. We'll
Not a
see. I might
believer,
get
yeah.
sucked in. We'll see what happens.
I'm going to stay as true as I can to a non-believer in the
All right,
Nets.
I'll make sure I take the under this year again, and then I'll be our voice of reason.
Yeah, because these
What's the truth?
guys, I know it's going to happen. They're going to have a run. They're going to look like world beaters. I'm going to just say, nope, not yet until they do it. So that's where I'm at with those guys. And best of luck to them. I hope they play. I like watching them play. So. Well, with that, do you guys want to move on to Joey's 5-pack of questions?
Let's go through this 5-pack.
5-pack. You want to take this, Joey?
Let's do it. Sure,
Yeah.
I can be our ringleader here. All right.
Drive it. Drive the
All right.
ball.
Question 1. 2-part question. So one team from each conference. We'll start with the Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference team most likely to repeat their success from last year. Success being loosely defined as whatever you guys feel. Titus,
Yeah.
take it.
I had a couple teams in mind for this, and I'm kind of like deciding on the spot. But I'm going to go with Boston.
Mhm.
I think that Boston. I don't know if can they make the finals again. I'm not sure if that's in the cards, but I believe they're going to be a top 2, 3 at the worst team in the Eastern Conference. I think they're going to keep that going, and I think they'll be a solid contender for sure. I see them again in the Eastern Conference Finals, if not the finals. So.
You want to do a Western Conference team while you're at it?
Yeah, Western Conference team that I think will have the same success. Oh, let me go with Memphis. Memphis is going to be there again. Yeah, that's all 100%. I believe in Memphis. I think that team is young, hungry, they're ready to go. I don't see that falling off.
All
I'm
right.
going to be boring with my homer picks here. I got 2 for the East and 1
Do
for
it.
the West. And it's obvious. Chicago's going to be the same. Like, if we want to look at year over year, 46 wins. If Lonzo can, okay, I'm not even going to say that. Patrick Williams is going to develop a little bit more. Levine's going to take the max. We got DeRozan. They're going to make the right moves. They got Caruso staying healthy. We had the biggest COVID outburst last year amongst any NBA team in the league, and we were still hitting pretty well. So I still like the Bulls. I'm still very optimistic for them to repeat what they did last year. And of course, Cleveland is going to take a leap, really. I mean, they might win 50 games next year. We'll see where the over-under will probably be around like 44.5. They won 44 last year. So I like Cleveland again. Everyone likes Cleveland now. So I'm going to have to find a new team. I don't know if Orlando's a team yet or Detroit, but, looking around. And then in the West, I was gonna say Minnesota, but I don't want to go that route because they did a stupid thing where they signed Taurean Prince to a 2-year, $16 million contract for $8 million a year, and it's deals like that make these poorly managed franchises stay mediocre because you're capping yourself with a guy that didn't play in your rotation during key moments in the playoffs, so you're gonna sign him for $8 million. I don't know.
Deep cut Wolves.
That's what
The hometown team for him.
that's but my pick is the Denver Nuggets. I think that should be the low hanging fruit. Is Jamal Murray's going to come back? We're going to be reminded why Jamal Murray was great. Michael Porter Jr. If that guy can just stay a little healthy, they'll be good again. They're making some weird trades. They made a trade today. They traded Monty. I don't have the trade in front of me, but and Jokic, I like Denver. So yeah.
To stay. All right.
Kind of seems like you've moved into the leaps there, Chris.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Sorry, we can go
two.
to that one.
Jump into the leapers then. Leaping lads, bringing it back from the early days. Chris's leaping lads.
Nice.
All right. Single part question here. Not both conferences, just the one team out of any conference. Biggest leap team in the upcoming season.
I had a team. Chris kind of mentioned them, but Detroit. I think Detroit's the team that's going to make the biggest leap. I forget. I don't know what their record was this season, but they
23
were
59.
Yeah, but they were feisty at the end of the season, giving everybody fits, close games, and losing them perfectly for them. They added Jaden Ivey right in the draft. That was
Yep.
that's
And
what they
Jalen
got.
Duran. So
And Jalen Duran. So some good guys.
Got some guys, and they
Got
got
some
a
guys.
shit ton of cap space.
got some cap.
Yeah, and I know there was a name that was, I forget who it was floating around for
Well,
who they
Eaton.
might sign. Ayton, yeah, that's
Miles
who it is.
Bridges.
Miles
Bridges is
Bridges.
the Bridges has been like tweeting at Detroit too, because he went to Michigan State, so he's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
all
he's
up in
like-
that business. So
But yeah, that's like my Cavs this year. For Chris last year, I think that's the team that I think is going to be rock solid.
Mhm.
Maybe flirting with the play-in. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team or anything like that. But
Yeah.
probably flirting.
oh
with
come
that
on,
10
top
spot.
10.
Top 10. Yeah, flirting with it.
Yeah, they should be top 10. I'm
Still
just saying.
young.
I'm trying to make
Hey,
you
there's a
like
lot
be
of
more.
teams.
You get more confident about it.
Well, that's my team that I pick on, or that I'm picking from poised to make a leap.
All right, Chris, who's making
Yeah,
your
so
leap here?
Are we just doing one? We're not doing
Yeah.
East and West, just one.
Just one.
It's one.
Okay, Titus, I encourage you to take a bigger leap on that. Just because you look at the Wizards, you look at the Knicks, who are about to give $110 million to Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
You look at the Hornets, who can't even
Cool.
keep their second best guy. You got the Wizards. I don't know what the hell they're doing. The Pacers. So the Pistons feel like they should easily be a top 10 team. I don't know, but we can get more into that. My leaping lad going into next season, it's got to be the Blazers. I'm not even a Damian Lillard fan the way that people like the guy, but they're obligated to win. The Jeremy Grant trade, it's not the biggest piece, but it's something. It was just this team's got to do something. I can't imagine them being bad for back-to-back years. It would just be weird for me. So without knowing anything going on, if I'm listening to this podcast 2 months later on what they actually did, I still believe in Portland to improve on their 27-55 record from last year.
That's a good pick. Yeah, that's a good pick.
It's a good one.
They should be back in the mix. So
I had 2 notes down for this
Yeah.
one. I think it's injury recoveries in the Western Conference for me. So it's the Clippers and the Nuggets.
The
Paul-
Clippers. God,
Paul-
that's good job. Yeah.
Paul George being healthy for a whole season. If Kawhi comes back, they added John Wall, which I think seems like kind of a non-starter type thing, but I feel like that's actually kind of a good piece for them. Just a consistent kind of veteran point guard, and it allows Kawhi and Paul George to kind of do their thing. So they were the 9th seed last year. I think they could easily be a top 2 team in the West if everything clicks for them. And the Nuggets, I mean, we saw what they did when they were fully healthy. They should have everybody back in stride this year. And I mean, that's Titus's kind of favorite team floating around there. Jamal's his guy. So I think
Wow.
I think we're primed for a pretty exciting team from Denver. Maybe we get some Titletown USA stuff, a little Avalanche and Nuggets action going on there. So,
hey, did you have any Eastern Conference, Western Conference teams you thought?
Repeat. I had Miami as my East repeat.
Yeah, that's good.
I just feel like they're just very consistent, and everybody seems to think they figured them out, but they managed to just kind of continue to win games. And then on the West, I had Golden State and Dallas. I don't think Golden State's going to take a slide this year, provided everybody stays healthy. And then Dallas, nobody seems to have figured out Luka. I don't think they're going to take a big leap, but I think they're kind of consistently just going to be that
top 4 team.
top 4 team that's they could do it, but they couldn't do it. They're just kind of going to ride in that area. So I think as a repeat definition, they're kind of
Does
right.
Luka just
right
give
in line
you
with
50
that.
wins like a season
Yeah.
just on his
I
own,
think
right?
That
Just-
guy.
I think he's that guy. Yeah. By showing up, you get 50 wins with Luka. That seems fair.
All right. Give us question 3, Joey.
Question 3: who's closer to a championship right now?
Wow.
the Chicago Bulls or the Minnesota Timberwolves. Chris.
Okay,
What do you
like,
think?
is this even a question?
Yes. I just
The
asked it.
Minnesota fan base wouldn't trade Anthony Edwards for Kevin Durant right now. This team is so high on this roster. It is unbelievable. And there's actually an article I read today that I meant to send to you guys, but I feel like I send too much stuff. You guys don't respond anyway, so I stopped. Which was Rudy
busy.
Gobert, the Rudy Gobert sweepstakes. Minnesota moves ahead of Chicago to get a veteran center presence. I loved the Minnesota draft. Walker Kessler out of Auburn averaged 4.6 blocks a game. This guy's amazing. And
Big man.
7'1" big man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure an American
man?
white dude, which I don't know. I don't remember last time there was a defensive American white dude presence in the NBA at this caliber. Well, Caruso, but that's big man. Like it's a little different. So I'm excited. I'm just excited
Will
for this team,
Purdue.
man. Will Purdue. Yes. Luke Longley. Oh, no, he was Australian, so he was
Australia. He doesn't
Um,
count. That's Nick White.
But Anthony Edwards, like, what was my point? It was Anthony Edwards. That guy's going to take it. Like, everyone's high on him. They did a redraft of that draft, and they're saying like, oh yeah, the Minnesota would take LaMelo Ball #1. It's like, no, they would still take Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards can just become a top 10 player next year, and I'm very excited to see this team. So
It's a fair point. This is the one question I wasn't super psyched about because I don't think either of these teams are particularly close to winning a title.
No, it's closer. It's who's
Closer.
closer.
So
yeah.
closer. I think I'm with Chris. I think I would take the Minnesota Wolves. They actually pushed the team to 7 games. So
probably the best playoff series we had this entire
that was the
playoff
best.
run,
That was
right?
the best
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was 6 games, but yeah,
6 games. Oh, I thought it was 7.
I was at the closeout.
Oh, that's right. You're at game 6. Well, they won a couple of games.
Yeah.
Good for them. And the play-in tournament game that they felt
which
the
was
championship.
basically was a better celebration than the
Yeah.
championship.
Wild. Joey, I'm sure you have thoughts on this.
Well, I picked the Bulls. Clearly.
Yes, let's hear it.
And I'm hanging my hat on one thing and one thing only. It's the defense. And I think if the Bulls stay fully healthy, their defense is got to be like top 7 or 8 in the league, right? If you've got Lonzo, Caruso, and if P. Will can stay healthy, the one thing we've seen from Patrick Williams, even though he's been kind of apprehensive on offense, is he's played good defense, right? And he spends a lot of his energy on the floor guarding some of the better players on the opposite team. He gets rebounds, he blocks, he does a lot of good things for them on the defensive end. Now, the big question is they have to stay healthy, and the other big question is, do they get a big man this offseason? There's so many rumors floating around, right? The Gobert rumor was floating. That's dead in the water. It seems like there was the Isaiah Hartenstein rumor floating around.
Cool
He's signing
rumor.
with Orlando.
Wait, he signed with Orlando?
I think he signed with Orlando.
I know Mo
think
Bamba
that's-
is going to be a free agent. So
Yeah, and
far,
I think
take
that's
that out.
and then who was the other guy from the Knicks? What's his name?
Mitchell?
Mitchell Robinson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He signed with the Knicks. So the only guy really left is Mo Bamba. I think they have to get somebody. Tony Bradley opted in. They can give Mo Bamba a mid-level exception.
For
So
$2
I think,
million.
yeah.
I didn't know you could do that for that.
So, I think they're going to do it. They've acknowledged that it needs to happen. AK and Mark Eversley have said we need to get better on our interior defense. They're going to do it. And I think, we saw what this team could do in terms of, the pace that they could run when Lonzo was actually playing and he was healthy. And if he can do that, they're good to go. Yeah, I take the Bulls. I think, Minnesota, like, they're not far behind. That's why I asked it, because we both have a stake in the game here, but it seemed like a pretty fair comparison.
I mean,
but I don't know,
they
just-
had the same record last year.
Yeah, Minnesota just kind of seems, and the Bulls too, like they're both on that, like they could beat any team any night, but they could also get blown out by like 30 against any team any night, and neither one of those results would surprise you.
Very true.
So
I like that.
I'll take my Bulls. I'm wearing my Zach LaVine jersey because he's going to sign his max deal soon, and I'm happy.
We should make a bet on who's going to have the better record next year, Minnesota or Chicago.
All right, well we got to
We'll just make that bet. That's an
Right.
easy
just
bet
in
to make.
general.
Yeah, we'll just have to
Okay.
figure out the stakes.
Okay.
All right.
All right, next question. Which conference has better overall depth, East or West? Chris, who's got the better depth overall?
I've been going back and forth on this one because a part of me wants to say the East because you got the Heat, Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, Raptors, Bulls, Nets, Hawks. That's 18 Cavs. Any of those teams, I feel like you'd be like, oh yeah, they could be a 1 seed. Miami was the 1 seed, so who knows? And they got the Hornets, who Michael MJ, dude, is he the worst owner of a franchise or a GM that we've had? Like, it's bad.
that's the
He's
worst
maybe not
stuff.
the worst. There's been some really awful ones out there, but he's not great. The Knicks with the Jalen Brunson thing, I'm still out on. And then the Wizards look bad. Pacers are interesting with the Benedict Mathurin guy. And then we got Pistons Magic, who I don't know.
We just named the whole Eastern Conference.
Sorry, I'm just going through
just
the
naming
list
Eastern
now.
Conference teams.
But that's my point is I think it's the East because there's just more. There's like 11 teams that I'm very interested in. While in the West, I don't care. I still don't care about the Rockets. I don't. Even though I mentioned the Blazers, I don't really care for them that much. They might just be that team that kind of they're the try hard team. The Kings, screw the Kings. The Spurs are tanking. But I think the East is just more fascinating. The West just feels, I don't know. I'm gonna say the East just because I like the East.
Yeah, I was on the same wavelength as you, Chris. Kind of debating. The Eastern Conference certainly has a lot of teams, but I'm going to go with, and I guess maybe I'm looking at the question a little bit differently. I go with the Western Conference only because I'm thinking of depth of like quality teams. I think you might be right as far as Eastern Conference has solid teams up and down for the most part, but I think you have 4-5 title contenders next year coming out of the Western Conference, right? I mean, you got.
I mentioned 9.
The Warriors. Clippers, Nuggets,
Suns,
Nuggets. And I would put the Mavs in there too.
Yeah,
so I think you got 5
and
teams.
Grizzlies.
And Grizzlies. I mean, I might not necessarily put them in there just yet.
Timberwolves.
But
Pelicans.
I think you have 4 or 5
Pelicans.
teams that I think can win the NBA title next year from the Western Conference, where I think in the East, it's still 2 or 3 that can realistically get there and win it. While that the Eastern Conference, though, it does have a lot of solid teams up and down. There's no doubt about that. But I think I would look at it that way myself. Joey, what do you think, man?
I think the East, and it seems like the Eastern Conference is making more of an attempt to improve their teams. I don't know if there's a lot of teams in the East right now that are really on that tank trajectory. Maybe Orlando. They're not like
they're just
tanking,
young,
but like just a young kind of up and coming team.
Guys.
But like
7 guys on the team.
7 guys.
It seems like everybody in the East, like I think there's a certain hierarchy in the East of like the top teams, right? Like everybody, like Giannis is there and Embiid, and like everybody is finding a way to compete with those players. Yeah. And they're all tooling their teams to try and take that down. Whereas in like the Western Conference, like you have more teams that are finals contenders, but every single one of those teams thinks they have the piece that can do it. And like none of those teams is scared of the other, right? So like everybody's kind of staying pat. Like I kind of went through like the top 8 and did like, an up, down kind of flat. And like the West all seems like kind of flat. Like there's not a lot of like movement. Like you're going to see a ton of like jockeying for position, where in the East, it's like, hey, you've got a lot of teams with draft picks. You've got a lot of teams that are young, but they have really good young players, and they're all kind of retooling to try and make a run. And at some point, right, it's got to hit. And we saw it last year with Boston, right? Like nobody thought that was going to be the case when the season started. And halfway through the season, nobody thought that was going to be the case, but like they had built it and it finally hit for them. And I think it's just kind of a matter of time before, the Cavs and, the Pistons are going to find it. And there's just some teams there that are going to be, all it takes is a little lightning in a jar. And I think it's coming. So give me the East.
In the East.
My true love.
Well, when the champion comes out of the West.
I think the best way to, I don't know, how do we quantify this by number of wins? I don't even know if that's like worth, yeah.
I think it would be number of wins against the opposite count. No, I don't know.
Maybe a number of teams over 500.
Ooh, that's probably.
Well, the East won that last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a 34-48 Spurs team in the 10th seed
Yeah.
in the West.
The Lakers couldn't overcome that.
Nope.
Funny.
The Lakers. All right, then let's
All right.
go. Last question.
Final question, wrapping it up here. What to watch for during the offseason? We've kind of already started it. We've probably taken a few things off the board maybe in the last 24, 48 hours, but there's a few items out there. Chris, what are you watching for this offseason?
Isn't it obvious? Woj
Maybe.
bombs. Just
Nice.
give me DeJounte Murray news. Give me any trade. Give me where's John Collins going? Is Katie for sure staying put? Like, this is what the offseason is for Woj and Shams just to go at it back and forth for the
Hot
offseason.
goss.
But I mean, I guess in serious though, like in summer league notes, I'm gonna watch Walker Kessler in the summer league. I'm gonna watch Jalen Duran for the Bulls, who we haven't even mentioned yet. Not Jalen yet.
Dalen Terry.
What's his name? Durant.
Dalen Terry.
Jalen Terry.
Dalen Terry.
Dalen Terry. I hate that guy's.
We don't even know his name. We don't even know his name.
But I'm gonna watch it because like I looked at his stats at Arizona. What he averaged like 6 points a game, but he like had all defense team.
I'm kind of lukewarm on him now. I was pretty cold. I'm lukewarm on.
He's a defense guy, which is what they needed. So
Defensive wing.
he's a defense guy. He's 6'7" with long arms, I'm sure. So he's got the body for it.
Sneaky athletic.
Sneaky.
All right, so we got some Woj bombs, some summer league rookie play. Titus, what are you watching for?
I don't know if that's what I'm watching for, but there's one thing I'm paying attention to this offseason. Is one thing only. I'm paying attention to Luka.
Luka.
I don't know if you guys see the pictures going around,
yeah.
looking swole, looking fit.
Yeah, I haven't seen this.
So it's been going around the NBA meme circuit. I've seen a few pictures.
Is he blonde now too?
He might
Like
be a
really
lighter
blonde?
blonde. He's just out there in the soaking up the sun. But
So he's-
he looks
So
locked
he's
in
off
this
the
offseason.
hookah, and
He's off the hookah. Luka is gone.
Hookah
Hookah Luka's gone.
He's
Of
getting
course, Light
shredded.
Luka is gone. He looks like he's getting shredded. Looks like he's locked in, and that's what I'm really paying attention to. Because if he comes in ready to go, that team and him in particular, he's scary. We're just watching him in the playoffs this year. He's coming for the league. Everyone, that's definitely happening. So I'm paying
You
attention.
think
to him
next year's his MVP?
I've been saying that the last couple years now. I think it's coming soon.
Whoa.
If you don't get it next year,
I had to hit up Twitter, and you're right. That dude is
Yeah.
looking cut.
no, he's ready to go.
Ooh,
Boy is
All right.
going to be ready.
I like it.
What are you watching for, Joey?
I am watching for some Zion videos
Oh.
popping up. We haven't mentioned Zion.
one.
So the Pelicans last year started off pretty terrible. Managed to sneak the 8th seed, and they got some guys. CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and if Zion comes back and is healthy, and he's looking pretty ripped and cut too. So, so much speculation on Zion over the past season and a half. But when he was playing, they were definitely a significantly better team, and they got some guys too. And Zion, there's not a matchup for Zion, and I don't know if,
Especially at the Park District he's playing at. What is he doing there? I don't understand.
Damn.
probably because he's trying to get traded, and he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna hang
play
out
with these
here. And
kids.
He's
just
getting
play
in
out
that
with
one. These kids. Fuck them kids.
breaking ankles and dunking over people, teabagging people. No. I'm on Zion watch. I like to watch him play basketball. It's kind of weird to watch Baby Shaq actually be able to dribble, and I'd like to see it. I'd like to see the Pels be good.
He finishes better than anybody else I've watched as a big man, a small big. It's a lot of fun, yeah.
And I just don't
like
I think what was bad about it before was it was just Zion, right? There was nobody else on that team that was if they're going to win, it's because of Zion. And now it's kind of hey, it's Zion plus these guys, and that actually makes them kind of sneaky like Jose Alvarado stealing passes. Sneaky.
They took the Suns to 6, so
They did. If they had Zion, they probably win that series. So
considering the Suns just choked it up in the next round.
Shit the bad.
Still
mad. I'm still burnt about that one. I don't appreciate that. Suns.
It's gonna take a while to get over that one.
Yeah. Way to go.
All right, that's all I had. That was my
So
5
yeah,
pack.
good. I like that little closing 5 questions there. That's how you seal the game, get the victory.
Get the dub.
Well, boys, I think that is it for us tonight.
Season 2 in the books.
Season 2 is in the books, and we're just a little off-season notes. So we do have some off-season plans coming. We're gonna do some non-basketball stuff. We'll keep it, spoiler-free. Just
I feel like we'll do like 10
don't know,
minutes of
should we-
basketball if there's some news, and then
Yeah.
we'll go to the topic, right? Yeah.
topic. So
I
yeah,
think we
if there,
should. I think we should tease it a little bit, Titus.
all right, tease it. So we got let's see. Hold on.
tease it.
Let me go my notes
Give
down. We are
Give them
doing
the chew on.
we'll be doing a music podcast about the artist
Specific
Mac
artist. Ooh.
Miller. Is a personal favorite of mine, and I've gotten Joey into him, and that should be pretty fun. Then after that, we're gonna do a little rewatch or watch of Winning Time, the popular basketball show that's gone around, and the movie Hustle. So basketball related, but it's a little more fun. A little watching that. Then after that, we're thinking we're gonna do a little Barrel Boys, a little bourbon tasting on the air. That one should be fun. We're also planning a food draft and a non-basketball athletes draft. And then, of course, we will be doing our NBA roundtable to close out the summer and bring all the boys back on to talk about the season coming up. So definitely some fun stuff coming up. We're going to be going every other week for the summer just to give ourselves a little time off to enjoy the sun and but still be here for you guys to get your Box Out Boys fix. So with that, join us in 2 weeks to talk more music. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at the Box Out Boys. Slide in those DMs. Join us live Wednesdays, every other Wednesday, around 8:30. Send us an email to theboxoutboys@gmail.com. And as always, like, subscribe, and review wherever you're listening to this at now. We very much appreciate that. So for Joey, Chris, and Adam, I'm Titus. Until next time, Box Out!